सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Can you turn it off? So, we saw in shloka number 9, Guruji quotes the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, and over here it is said that there is nothing as purifying as knowledge, and nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. This shloka number 9, a very beautiful shloka from 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And we have seen Guruji over here has enumerated few things for the purification of mind, few practices such as yajna, dana, tapa, all those things. And again, this is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. In 18th chapter it is mentioned, in 5th, 4th, various chapters different things are mentioned. But in 18th chapter, in great detail, that yajno danam tapaschaiva japas tirtham vratas tatha, all these methodologies used in purification of mind. But the highest is when we use the Chetana Shakti of our own mind, the very awareness in our own mind to monitor itself. And that awareness, this knowledge, allows us to get to the root of the problems of our life. It may be anger, it may be pride, it may be jealousy, whatever it is, it can only be eradicated provided there is a great amount of attentiveness practiced at the level of mind, and for that the intellect has to be informed. So up to an extent we have to practice karma yoga, we have to practice japa yoga, we have to practice danam, charity, all types of austerity. When all these things are practiced, there is a certain amount of peace and silence attained in that mind. When that mind becomes silent up to an extent, to that extent the intellect can pass on this knowledge of attentiveness and the mind can become alert. The alertness of mind has to be cultivated by knowledge and knowledge alone. By itself the alertness will not come. People say that I am born with such a prakriti. Well, we are all products of the same prakriti. None of us have a unique equipment. We all have the same type of equipment. Yes, maybe the vasanas differ here and there, but the equipment can be uplifted by our own sankalpa, that this is by our own willpower, that this is what I am going to achieve. And over here there is nothing greater than knowledge that purifies us, and that has to be an essential practice for the purification of our mind. It purifies our mind and it prepares for abidance. Abidance in the truth will not just arrive by itself. This is exclusive awareness. This is objectless awareness. But the awareness within the realm of objects have to be cultivated, and that is talked about over here as shloka number 9, nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. So continuing in shloka number 10, the same idea is repeated. Etad bhagavato vakyam Swatma shuddhyeka siddhaye Vicharyate maya samyak Shri Harir me prasidatam. Etad bhagavato vakyam. Over here Guruji is saying it is not mine, but bhagavato vakyam, Bhagavan Shri Krishna Swayam, he himself utters in Bhagavad Gita that there is nothing as purifying as knowledge. Swa atma shuddha aika eka siddhaye. This is one sure short method of purification. This is actually the practice of Ramana Maharshi ji. You know, he just remained in silence, and he said, whenever there's a question, he said, who's asking the question? Every time he went to the root of the questioning individuality. Who is the questioner? Where is this question arising from? Because in this absolute silence, peace, complete Satchidananda Swarup, where is this doubt? Who has this doubt? And he asked people to practice this, remain in silence, ask, uproot. But this practice, if immediately somebody dives into it, it is difficult. Somebody may just read Ramana Maharshi ji's book and directly wear a langoti, go to Tiruvannamalai, sit down and do. It doesn't happen that way. It is very difficult. He has reached that state in so many janmas. He has purified himself, where the mind just abides in that silence. So that yajna, dana, tapa, karma, tirtha, vrata, all those things, whatever we can do, we have to do to purify ourselves. So all those things, our life has to be a very beautiful recipe of various things that contribute to this beautiful personality, which is an outcome of a vision of life painted by Shastra. Because by itself, where are we going to get a proper picture? Only teachers and scriptures. So, taking the support of teachers and scriptures, I re-engineer the equipment over here. And little adjustments contribute to the mind and the intellect developing a beautiful symbiotic relationship together, so that they function as one whole entity. And that's why that yajna, dana, tapa, tirtha, vrata, japa, all this silences this mind up to an extent where it can create a channel of communication where it is receptive to receiving information passed on. And that is when the mind can slowly ask it, where is this question coming from? That genuine question everybody has, How do I deal with anger? There's no easy answer for this. How do I deal with jealousy, passion, lust, greed? There is no magic mantra that the teacher can utter and the whole thing can be wiped out. It doesn't work that way. So what we have to do is, we have to first recognize that this is the problem of this equipment. And you will only realize this when we initially start our practices. When we sit down for meditation, certain things will come and disturb us. And we have to be attentive, we have to notice where lies my pitfalls. And if it is that anger, we want a quick fix to a perennial problem. The anger we see is the anger which is manifested in the physical realm. But just because it has manifested in the physical realm, that doesn't mean that inside it is not there, that it is only expressing outside. That anger which is coming out has its roots and seeds at a deeper level. And those have to be removed. And that can only be removed by vichara eka siddhaye. That one vichar, that one continuous thought. That anger rises, immediately the intellect intervenes in the system and says, there is no need for it. There is no need for it. Jealousy rises, there is no need for it. Bhagavan has given a lot. So, desire arises, there is no need for it. Learn to be content. Yallabase nija karmotpatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Bhaj Govindam starts on the very second shloka. Whatever you attain, learn to be content with it. Why does he start with it? That is the root cause of genesis of desires. I don't have this, I want this. So that is why Swa Atma Shuddha Eka Siddhaye. This is one sure short method of self-purification. The self doesn't require any purification. It is already pure. It is the lower I which is contaminated over here by our own desires, which veils it from that higher. So, vicharyate maya samyak. Very well, I should inquire into it. Shri Harir me prasidatam. So, one is one's own vicharana shakti. And second is, see, a prayer. Shri Harir me prasidatam. Oh Lord, please bless me. Please be pleased with me. So both the devotion aspect keeps the mind fully content, because it is a seat of feeling and emotion. It needs to be satisfied. And for that, the satisfaction, the fulfillment that it is taught over here is learn to seek fulfillment in the higher and not in the lower world. So, Shri Harir me prasidatam. Bhagavan, be pleased with me. Please be fulfilled. So, in all these things, and Guruji has in detail talked about over here all these impurities and how we get rid of it. And towards page 24, be intensely conscious of the impurities of mind. And what are those? Anger, greed, passion. But that awareness will only come provided I start my initial practices of meditation of observation. And please don't think you have to meditate for hours at a time. You find 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You sprinkle meditation throughout the whole day. You know, so many Indians, when they get a car, they do puja, and then they put that Vinayaka over there on the dashboard. And after he is put over there, nobody even looks at him. What we can do is, the minute we get into the car, look at him, gather yourself, I'm about to drive. 2 minutes, close your eyes. That 2 minutes of silence, abiding in just this silence before you start your journey, it's a meditation. After you've reached destination, park car over there, again 2 minutes of silence. We reach doctor's office 5 minutes early. Instead of picking up all the magazines over there, just close your eyes and maybe utter your mantra 4 or 5 times. See, this is how you sprinkle meditation in your entire life, daily. It is not a morning activity after you take a bath and bus over until the next day. This is how we become intensely conscious. The life becomes conscious. Learn to stick to your shopping list. Don't add anything more to it. Walk into HEP, get those things and walk out. Then I am aware. 99.99% of the people, they walk away with more things. They went only for bread and milk, and even 16 hands of amba is not enough to carry those things. So this is how we keep tabs on desires. This is how we keep tabs on, awareness of mind. So this is how we invite purity. These are like practical tips, to live. See the implication and the consequences of them. When can we see the implications and consequences? When we are at peace. When we are in the heat of anger, we think we are going to analyze anger. We just want to destroy the other person in front of us. We won't even see the consequences, implications. That is far away from our mind. The implications and consequences of raga, dvesha, of kama, krodha, all these things can only be clearly ascertained when the equipment is silent enough to even entertain it. So when is it available? When I have sprinkled little bit of silence throughout the day, when I have sprinkled little bit of divinity throughout the day, I will see the consequences. Then my choices will be better. Understand them in their totality. Learn to see what an outburst of any one of these 6 enemies within, what it does to the outside world. Yes, it destroys ourselves. Our prarabdha increases, sanchit karma increases, everything. That is a given. But how I disrupt the Vishnu Maya? I have disrupted my individual Maya, but I also disrupt his Maya. And I add an additional burden of sanchit and prarabdha karma for samashti. Bhagavan has to create some more things to accommodate this particular thing. And when in our daily practices, when we are so much in love with our puja, with our Bhagavan, our Ishta Devata, and when we realize that we are burdening our Ishta Devata by our own doings, then this will clean up. Tulsidas ji cannot do anything to disturb Lord Rama's divinity. He had that Ramcharitmanas he had written, and people were creating trouble for him. They wanted to destroy it. And Lord Rama and Lakshmana came as the two guardians for his door. Two boys were protecting. And he asked those pandits that, how come you are not coming? Arey, we tried to come, but there are two boys who are always by your front door. And tears started flowing. My God, because of me, Lord Rama and Lakshmana have to come. He took his books and threw it in Gangaji. He said, because of this book, Rama has to come and protect. No books required now. So, inside he kept the whole Ramcharitmanas. This is how, Mahatmas and Sant, they think that they don't want to disturb their Bhagavan. So, understand them in their totality. What does my behavior do to the totality? How do I disturb the totality? Because once we are on this path, Vedanta says it is Maya, 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 what is this illusion, this, that. But somebody has to create illusion. A magic cannot exist without a magician. So, when that child keeps on asking for more and more and more and more magic, initially the magician, but after he's like, okay, time is over, I need to go. Even that magician wants rest. So, the totality, yes, it is Maya. That doesn't mean we have a license to destroy it or disturb it, and now who cares, it is all a magic show of Maya. No. So this is, we begin to understand the picture of totality. This is how Prakriti will bless us. Without the blessings of Mother Creation, she will not let us go. This is her. This is her. Even this Asura over here is her. Everything over here, this is her realm of functioning. This is him. But this all belongs to Shakti. And if we abuse any one of these things, we are only delaying our abidance. So we have to please her. Without her blessings, we cannot. We can have most clear understanding of Atma Tattva. The whole Brahma Sutra, everything clearly understood. Naish Karmya Siddhi. But our karma is anything other than Naishkarmya. So, this is how we purify this, accept it as her, that Mother, this equipment is yours. So, outside equipment hers, inside equipment hers, and there is a harmony in which I work. and do not justify or glorify the impurities. After all, I'm only human, I'm allowed to make mistakes, we say such things. So how many times are we going to say, after all, I'm only human? That child makes mistakes several times, but the same mistakes as a toddler, as a teenager, in the 20s, in the 30s, in the 40s, then we have to realize that some growth has to be there. So this is how we do self-introspection. Continuing, Ragadveshadaya kamaha Krodha lobhadayopi cha Ahankarastatha svartho Vividha manaso malaha. So, last two shlokas, Bhagavato Vakya, that nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate, that there is nothing as purifying as knowledge. So, what are the impurities that knowledge can remove? All this is what is removed by vichar. This is all removed by proper thought. The only solution for removing likes, raga, dvesha, dislikes, kama, desire, krodh, anger, lobh, greed, adayaha, apicha, and again more, ahankar, ego, tatha svarthaha, selfishness, vividha manasomalaha. These enemies are only removed by vichar. There is no quick fix for these things. That nahi jnanena sadrusham, this is knowledge alone will remove these. There is nothing else. So vichar, inquiry about rag. Why do I have affinity for this? Why do I like this? It is the likes and dislikes which create problems. Almost all gods associated with knowledge and wisdom, they will have pasha and ankusha, Ganeshji has it, Dakshinamurti has it, Devi has it. Most deities presiding over knowledge and wisdom, because pasha represents bondage. Ankusha, represents the suffering born out of bondage. And this majestic animal, elephant, it is that Mahut only has this little ankush, and he controls this massive animal with that. Ganeshji has this. And this is for the lower eye. The lower eye has come out of pasha, bondage created by a life lived without inquiry, creates this individual living, and then it has to be brought under control, and that is that god, that ankusha, which allows us to come out. But vichar is required, and that's why all these deities are our deities of knowledge, because without the wisdom of Dakshinamurti, of Ganeshji, of Mother Saraswati and all of them, it cannot come out. That is why the symbolism starts with Pasha and Ankusha. Kama. So likes and dislike feed, fanned by likes and dislikes. And all this creates the burden of prarabdha and burden of sanchita karma. It keeps on increasing. But the minute this vichar comes, the whole thing starts crumbling. Krodha, anger. So kamana, this desire, modified. Raga and dvesha modified kamana. Kamana modified krodha. Krodha modified lobha. See, they are all in sequence. All of them exist together. That's why the stories in our Puranic literature, you know, there will be a family with 6 siblings, and this sibling does but the 6 siblings actually in their entire katha that we see of Atmadev and all of those, the katha, the stories are only allegorically painting a picture of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mada, Matsarya, all of these things. So Raga and Dvesha, over here, Madhu and Kaitab, the whole Devi Bhagavatam starts with the first Charitra, chapter 1, Madhu and Kaitab. What is Madhu and Kaitab? Raga and Dvesha. Chapters 2, 3 and 4, Mahishasura. What is that? Kamana. Then comes chapter 5, Shumbha and Nishumbha. What are that? Krodha and Lobha. So the whole Devi Bhagavatam, all of these are addressed. And continuing, Ahankar. What is that? Rakta Bija, very nicely. A drop falls, ahaha, again. Chopped off again, one drop falls again. First chapter, Mahakali takes care of Raga and Dvesha. Chapters 2, 3 and 4, Mahalakshmi takes care of Mahishasur. And chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, who takes care of all of them? Mahasaraswati. Why? Knowledge is required. Shumbha and Nishumbha and the whole gang after that. A host of demons in every chapter. She has the largest charitra in Devi Bhagavatam, Goddess Saraswati. Without knowledge, they cannot be. That is why nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. That knowledge alone becomes the source of removal of all these. Krodh, Lobh adayaha, Ahankar tatha, Swarthaha. Ahankar, ego, Swartha, one's own selfishness, Vividha manaso malaha. These are the various impurities of the mind. Continuing, Ete sarve hi drushyante,
Ete sarve hi drushyante,
Chitte chalati jagrati,
Chitte chalati jagrati,
Pralinam chayada chittam,
Pralinam chayada chittam,
Naite sham drushyate gatihi.
Naite sham drishyate gatihi.
So, over here, very beautifully it is described, proof is given that where are these demons? Where are these demons hiding? See, a human being lives their life in 4 avasthas: Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti and Turiya. The waking state, the dream state, the deep sleep state, and the 4th known as Turiya. Waking state, we all know, we are awake. Dream state, the physical body is suspended, the mind projects, limited intellect is available. It is a state exclusively for mind to unleash the tendencies that it cannot unleash in the waking state. So, dream state, waking state, dream state. It gets tired of these releasing of these tendencies, so it requires a break, and the break is called Sushupti, deep sleep state, where the physical body is suspended, the mind, the intellect are suspended, and there is a void. Nothing is available. It is a complete taking over of ignorance. And to the awakened human being, beyond the Jagrat, beyond the waking, the dream, the deep sleep, they are awakened to the absolute. So now an analysis is done that where exactly resides this Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Adi. Where does this likes, dislikes, desire, anger, jealousy and passion, where do they live? What is their dwelling places? Is it the waking state, the dream state, the deep sleep state, or the 4th state? Where do they dwell? And this shloka is meant for our further vichar, for our further inquiry, that the likes, dislikes, the desire, the anger, the jealousy, all of them over here, ete sarve chitte chalati jagrati drishyante. When the mind is active, it is seen. And it is most active in the waking state. Jagrati, it is said. In the waking state, ete sarve, ete, all these, it is implied from the previous shloka. All these negativities, they all infuse my waking personality. Pralinam cheda chittam na etesham drushyate gatihi. And when that mind is suspended, it is not seen. So, these belong to the mind. They do not belong to anything else. It does not belong to that consciousness. So over here now it is established that Rag, Ichha, Sukha, Dukkha Buddhau Satyam Pravartate Shushuptau Nasti Tannashe Tasmad Buddhehe Natu Atmanaha. Over here Guruji quotes from Atma Bodh that all these things, all these negativities are seen in the waking state. Thus all our problems arise when the human being enters the waking state. And these arise in the waking state And because they arise in the waking state, they can only be destroyed in the waking state. They cannot be destroyed in any other state. The waking state comes to an end at the beginning of the dream. I cannot take my waking experiences into the dream. And the dream state comes to an end when the dream ends and the waking world starts. Can the waker meet the dreamer? When will the waker meet the dreamer? This is a question taken in some scriptures, because analysis has to be done. The waker is fed up of the dreamer. Let me meet that dreamer and get rid of him. Can the waker ever meet the dreamer? The waker has to become the dreamer to meet the dreamer. The dreamer has to become the waker to be in the waking state. Because there is only one. There are no two people. It is not the waker, it is not the dreamer. They are not two different people. The waker himself is the dreamer, and the dreamer himself is the waker. The dreamer is the dreamer because of raga, dvesha, all of those things. A set of this raga, dvesha, kama, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, swartha, all these, a set of this is a waker, and a subset of that is the dreamer. So the waking state and dream state are in essence what? All these impurities. A very simple shloka but deep implications for us to ponder upon, that our entire state of living, 24 hours are reduced to these. That is what it is. Even science tells us when we go into deep sleep, it is very little. So majority, ete sarve hi drishyante chitte chalati. In the movement of the mind, chitta, mind, chalati, movement. Don't think mind walks. Walking or movement of the mind is thoughts actually. So the thoughts are none other than all these impurities. Pralinam chayada chittam, when the mind is pralina, suspended, all of them are suspended. Na etesham drushyate gatihi, they are not seen. So the problem is of the waking state, and the problem is of the dream state. So in Mandukya, waking and dream are combined into one state called the state of ignorance. Gaudapadacharya ji only addresses 3 avasthas in Mandukya Upanishad. He calls the waking state and dream state swapna avastha. Both of them he calls them dream. This is Maya, and in the Maya there is another dream. He said that dream and this dream in essence are both dreams. And then there is a deep sleep, and then there is an awakened. So ignorance, then void and awake. This is how Gaudapadacharya ji reduces this human being too. That either we are in ignorance, we are in dark void, or we are awakened. Awakened, illumined. That is not the waking state, the state of knowledge, abidance of knowledge. So if the whole thing is called ignorance, and all these are ignorance, and that is what he concludes in that next shloka number 13. Jagratyapi cha vidvamsam pidyanti na te tatha. Pidayanti na te tatha. Avidvamsam yatha lokam daya patram cha sarvada. So now he reduced the waking state, the dream state, to avidya, ignorance. And the host of likes, dislikes, desire, anger, greed, jealousy, passion, all of this he calls it is a giant blob of ignorance. And there is a person who is in the midst of this ignorance, and there is a person who has casted off this ignorance. The one who has casted off the ignorance, one who has removed it completely, is known as Vidwan, a wise one. And the one who has not casted it off is avidvamsam. So over here, Jagratyapi cha vidvamsam, that wise person, even though in the waking state, Jagratyapi na pidayanti te tatha, these host of negativities which are one giant glob of ignorance, it creates no problems for him. He will see the whole world of raga, dvesha, desire, everything he will see. And he is in the midst of the total ignorance. Vishnu Maya is what? Total ignorance. And he is in the midst of it, and yet he is not perturbed by it, because the understanding is correct. That since I am part of the total ignorance, I am an individual which is part of the whole. I have to conform to what the whole wants me to conform to. Individually, I have to give up my avidya. But at the totality, he has no problem playing the role of the script written for him. He has absolutely no problem. For us, we do not want to play the role which the script dictates, and on top of that we want to rewrite the script. That is our problem. That is a problem of ajnani. This is what inquiry into knowledge will allow us to get into. We will realize that total ignorance is part of the totality, and I must conform to it because it was ordained by totality. But the individual one, that is my ignorance, and my ignorance persecutes me and me alone, and I have control over it. I should individually not be persecuted, and that is na pidayanti te tatha. Individually, they are never persecuted by their individual ignorance, but the total ignorance is seen as a divine play of mother creation or a projection of Narayana, whatever you want to take it. But Jagrati api vidvamsaha, in the waking he will be there because he is a Jivan Mukta, so he will wake up to the waking state, common to all, but he will accept everything, he will reject nothing. Gurudev used to say, accept everything, reject nothing, but keep nothing. That is the insignia of a Jnani. If somebody gifts something, or if Prarabdha brings something, take it, accept it. Reject nothing, because even if we reject something, we are creating a Prarabdha for rejecting. So accept everything, reject nothing, but keep nothing. If it arrives, take it, welcome it. Keep nothing meaning that rag should not come. Keeping meaning raga has entered, and you know, the minute raga comes, all of them will come. It starts with raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, ahankar, swartha. They are all in that sequence order. If I keep it, raga has come, madhu has arrived. And the Puranic story goes, Madhu and Kaitab are created from the ears of Mahavishnu. Meaning, even hearing something will create rag. Then what to talk of watching the television and the advertisement, and how many rags. Driving, looking at a billboard can create rag. So Madhu and Kaitab will come very easily. That is called keep nothing. Be very alert so that Madhu and Kaitab do not enter. It is the name of the demons, which means raga and dvesha, basically. So this shloka 12 and 13, they are actually quite deep. They are born out of reflection. That the whole topic is Manah Shodanam, purity of mind. And how do I clean them? Japa, dana, tapa, all those things, karma, all those, yes, they help. But now is this Gnyan sadhana. And knowledge allows us to completely sweep the dwelling places of the jiva. Gurudev used to say the courtyard of the mind has to be clean. And the courtyard of the mind is swept by awareness. You put light into it and the whole thing lights up. We don't have to do the job of taking a bucket and emptying darkness. That's not how you get rid of darkness. To get rid of darkness, we have to light a lamp. Lighting of the lamp is the dispelling of the darkness. So the lamp of awareness. Now when I live with that awareness, I monitor raga, likes, dislikes, desires, they stay. Avidvamsam yatha lokam daya patram cha sarvada. Bichara daya patram. You know, we say that pitiable is a life of a person who invites trouble. Who is an ignorant? They invite their own trouble. Where and when? Every step of the way they invite trouble. How? Unexamined life they live. They create not just holes and potholes, big holes which will be filled with a casket. So this is how knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of why am I here, what am I doing. People get fed up with the world, they want to run away. Arjuna, he wants to run away from the world. Bhagavan says, we cannot run away from the world, but you have to play intelligently with this world. And an intelligent master taught him how to live intelligently. So we'll continue 14, 15 tomorrow. Very nice shlokas. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi om.